Hi everyone, welcome back to Freak Sense TV. I'm your host, Charlie Freak, and I'm giggling and laughing, and I'm very excited because I'm back with brother Josh, and this is Josh X, and Josh X is a very, very dear friend. Josh and Michelle are very, very, very dear, precious friends to Colleen and I, and Josh has been very, very busy on his personal journey, and he has been essentially trying to put or to get his food forest and his creation and the video. Welcome, my beautiful, beautiful friend. And so Josh has been really, really busy trying to put sort of, you know, his personal affairs in order and get the food forest started. And basically right now, everything has kind of just been not necessarily flowing perfectly for Josh with that. So what Josh has decided to do, which is amazing, he just created his own YouTube channel. He's on Instagram, and so now Josh is just going to make himself available, and the genius that exists inside of Josh's beautiful mind available to everyone. And so I'm just going to say straight up, we're going to help Josh to get a Patreon page started and a PayPal account as well, because in the meantime, by doing this, it's taking Josh and Michelle away from being able to earn some dollars to be able to create their food forest. So, and once you hear the genius that is Josh, you're going to want to be able to help as best you can. And Josh completely understands 100% that these are trying times for everyone, and we just do our best. So, but Josh is definitely someone that all of us need to reach out and embrace, because he has a beautiful mind. Josh is connecting to the Father, and Josh is dealing with what we like to, Colleen and I like to do, which is just the truth, God's truth, which is the holistic truth that connects to all things and answers all questions. So with all of that, Josh, welcome to the show. And if you'd like, please say a few words to start off here.
Yeah, thank you, brother Charlie. Love and light to you all. Sorry that my video is not on. There's a slight connection problem with this video, and unfortunately I have to do audio here. So I just want to wish you all the best, and I hope you're doing well on the journey to find the self. At the moment, I am currently in the UK, but in 2 days, on Monday, I'm heading back out to Portugal to try and make this reality happen with the fruit forest. And yeah, so we're here tonight to share lots of gnosis, the truth, and only the truth. So if you've got a subject you'd like to start on, brother, then we can come forth and shed light.
Yeah, I have just an incredible show planned for both of us today, and I'm very excited for it. What I did want to start was this theme that I have been really encouraging everyone to wrap their minds around. It's so important. Folks, at the end of the day, as I was saying, Colleen and I were saying with our weekly Friday Q&A chat with Lokesh, that is every Friday from 2 to 4 Central Standard Time, 3 to 5 Eastern Standard Time, every Friday. And we did 3 hours because there were so many questions. Ideally, we'd like to do 2, but if it requires 3, we'll do 3. During the show, what I mentioned to you was, of course, that recently, as most of you now know, we have been incredibly, like, it's one thing for them to do stuff with our accounts, okay? And at the end of the day, it is what it is. We want our message freely available to you, but that just isn't possible right now. Tony, who's creating our website and sort of who is our social media director, Tony Wheel. She's absolutely amazing. We love you, Tony, so much. Tony was just doing a check on Freak Sense TV, the YouTube channel, and it's literally blocked in most countries in the world right now. So everything on YouTube has just come. So we were doing, up until 2 weeks ago, we were doing approximately between 2,500 to 3,500 new subscribers a day, and we are below 500 new subscribers per day. And the video count, same thing, has just come crashing down. And it's because their algorithms have simply taken us back away. Now, we contacted John Galt and the Q team, and we're very hopeful that there will be a remedy for this. Certainly long term, there absolutely will be, of course, but in the short term, we just like to have all of the information as accessible as possible. So I think what started all of this was when I began to really narrow this message down, Josh, to this ultimate Trojan horse, the ultimate secret plan of the enemy. And that is what I call Luciferianism, or the concept of Lucifer, which is the false light. It's light, but it's the wrong light. And as Josh and I both know, it's what brought us so together and so close together, is this gnosis that the truth, everything lays within you. And folks, remember, it has to be this way. Because as I was saying yesterday on the show, if God truly made things the way that the out there society constantly teaches us and tells us and rams down our throat, that everything is out there, then we indeed have only this one reality that we are experiencing, which is that it's big and the problems are enormous. They need to be looked at by, very well-schooled, educated people who have access to these world problems, and the cost of everything, because everything is so enormous out there, is so overwhelming that only a few governments have that kind of money, or only a few families. And it's the same thing with space. If God was to have made space, outer space out there the way that they tell us, then that is the most silly thing, ridiculous thing that God could ever have done, because, of course, from moment one, you absolutely know how this was going to play out, which is that, again, only a couple of countries can afford to have these trillion-dollar space machines that can go out into space, or just a few families or a group of very wealthy people, and that's it. And that's elitism, and that is the opposite of free will. That is the opposite of love and freedom and God's creation. It can't be that way. And when you buy into this, and there's so many of you, so many brilliant minds out there that are just buying into this thing of the Nephilim, and you think that the Anunnaki are some space race out there. Anu means sun. Anaki is Enki. Enki is Ea, which is the water god or goddess. So it's yin and yang. It's the heavenly father spiritual, and it's the physical mother of the earth. It's the yin and yang. It's the balance. It's harmony. It's Buddha's middle way. But again, no, it's space and form, sort of gene splicing that's for millions and millions of years. And you see, narrative insane. It's insane because there's nothing that we can do about it. And it turns us into nothing but victim. You are not a victim. God did not make you this perfect creation to be a victim whose genes can be spliced, your memory erased, and all of these things. It doesn't work that way. You just have to go within you, cross the river from the left brain to the brain. The right brain remembers. The right brain taps into the Akashic records. The right brain knows. The left brain guesses. The left brain does. The left brain lives through fear. There's no memory in fear. Examine anyone. Something may just happen this morning. It's a fearful experience. You can barely remember anything about it because fear does not allow you to remember. When you calm yourself, When you still your mind, you can remember detail about it, but only when you still the mind and go within. Within is everything, because all life is emergent in its form. Emergent means it is created within and it is shared outwardly. Outwardly. That is how we exist, in to out, dark to light. What is this revolution that Trump and the Q team are doing? And what do they constantly say? To light, to light. The answers of God lay with. That's what I've been sharing, Josh, with everyone for about 2 weeks now. And as a result, the sort of retaliation by the system, the retaliation, Josh, by to this ultimate narrative, this ultimate message that to be aware of the Luciferian agenda that's out there. Everything is out there. And since I have really been honing in on that message, sharing that message, that when this insanity of the attacks against us, even right to have been happening.
The agenda that's been pushed out there is a massive egoic agenda, and it's basically based on fear. And as you were saying, fear pulls you straight back into the left brain ego and stops any expression from the right side of you. But the way that it's designed is perfect, and it is all as it's supposed to be. And what we as beings on a journey, or seekers of light and truth, we must come to the realization that the world that is out there is the world that we were warned about in the Bible. And this is the world that is a corporate world, and the corporate world is run by busyness. And anything to do with this materialistic world, we need not to love or anything in it. And we must separate the fact that there is an earth and the world. And the earth is there, has never left us. But our thinking and our programming has pulled us so far away from the understanding that the earth is the right side and the right choice and the non-egoic side of our journey that we've forgotten and lost our way. Within a torus, there's 2 energy fields. And right now, when you're born into this matrix, you are on a redshift, lower masculine energy field that needs to connect to the right blue shift, or the divine. And in doing that, our energies within reciprocate and create life, rather than just get our bodily energy sucked from us in the material way. So I think it's very important to try to focus our intent and energy towards understanding that there is a world and there is the earth. Which place do we choose to dwell? If we can understand that everything that we focus our attention on brings it into our reality. And if we focus on the world too much and uncovering the lies of the world, we will fall trap into the world. Now, if I could say that the world is full of thought forms, or forms of thought, and our existence here is about expanding awareness, the thought forms of the world, or the left brain lower ego side of this, is to trap our consciousness into ideas that our consciousness needs to overcome to grow or to expand. So the perception, if you can sort of manipulate your perception to see that the world serves a purpose, but the purpose is for the evolution of consciousness. And if we focus too much on the world, we will get lost in the world. But the world must be overcome. And in that sense, it's necessary for us to build up our intellectual awareness of this world to a point that we understand it. And then we must make the decision to apply our knowledge and action, which is our karma, to move away from that state of being. Otherwise, we stay in a static place where we're constantly peaking and troughing with our emotions, as once we understand what we must be doing, if we sit back and just observe the fact that we know this, we will just be in a repetitive cycle of emotion where we know we need to be doing something and we're not doing it. So in that sense, there's a pain body for your experience here, and your body will recognize and feel the pain, whether it be mental, physical, or emotional pain. You are here to experience these things. If you are going through mental, physical, or emotional pain, it's because the knowledge that you have is not being applied and your consciousness is not expanding. And this is the purpose of our existence here. I think maybe during this conversation, or this hour and a half, 2 hours, what we have left, we should be able to give some keys for beings to just open up and activate doorways for them, just to be able to see certain light here and how we can do this. Is there anything you'd like to interject with, Brother Charlie?
Josh has really set the tone for the entire show today. And so I just want to identify these two options that are always readily presented to us. So essentially, you can look at them, as Josh said, as left-hand path, right-hand path, red shift, blue shift. So what Josh is saying is that there's a construct that has been built by the hands of man, and they have poured our sweat into it with fake money, and they take this very seriously. This is precisely, by the way, what Bill Hicks was talking about when, this has to be real. All of this has to be real. Look at the size of my wallet, my bank account. Look at my family. This has to be real. They're banking entirely on a physical construct, which Santos Bonacci describes the world, as the personality construct. And he calls it absolutely correctly the delusion. It's the hands of man. And if you have read the Bhagavad Gita, the Bible, or the Buddha Sutras via Buddha, you'll know that the hands of man is the fallen realm, and it is filled with lies. And where we get things right is when we go to the right. Everything that is right is right. And that's how you know. You cast thy net to the right. And right is grounding oneself via the uncles to the mother in the earth, which is the higher form of the sacred feminine energy. And then exalting thy arms to heaven, the Tiffany blue sky, to the spiritual father. You see, that's real. And even though it's less tangible, because you've just been taught to live out of your 5 physical senses, that's reality. So what Josh talks about as the earth, he's talking about a holistic system of the earth. He's not just talking about the red rocks and the red soil of which the mother inhabits. He's talking about the Tiffany blue sky. He's talking about the ether. He's talking about the firmament. And all of this is a macrocosm and a microcosm that exists inside of your head. And that is this perfect, beautiful duality between the father and the mother, between the metaphysical and the physical.
And may I say that the earth itself is not just this plane of existence. The earth is the plane of inertia, and on this inertial plane from the magnetic field, this is where we all exist. Now, earth has many dimensions on it, but right now you are in a construct or a reality that you must overcome for your awareness to expand. Earth is not just this place, it's the central plane, and on this plane allows life to exist. And this has come from consciousness, which is God. And if you can truly understand what consciousness is, this is the creation from the creator. So I think if we truly understand what awareness is and what the ego is, we can truly understand the earth and what the world is. If we look at the dimension of the word world, you'll see that it's a war with LD. This means it's a war with the form of L. Now, we have been given books such as the Bible, and the Bible is to activate the other energy field within our being. There are 2 L's. There is an AL and an EL. Now, if you look at the word earth, you'll see EA, RTH. Now, the EA represent these 2 L's. And if we want to become level, if you can look at the word level yourself here, you'll see there's an L either side. And in the middle, there is EVE, which represents even. So to become level, we must balance these 2 L's. And this is why all is spelled ALL, Ball is BALL, and the bull and the Bible, and these things are here for our synchronicities. If we can raise our awareness to a certain level and become receptive to the earth's frequencies, we will see the significance, which is the sign if I can see phonetically and visually, and then we can overcome this reality.
Josh, let me quickly interject again. That is so brilliant, my brother. I just love you so much. That is so brilliant. And folks, look at the word level. Again, if you go back to ancient Hebrew, the word Eve, as in Adam and Eve, comes from, or an application of it is in Hebrew, which is Heve, H-E-E-V-E, or Heva, which is H-E-V-A. So Eva or Eve, which is the name of the sacred mother, or the sacred feminine energy. Now, remember, the two L's is also a representation of the two towers, or the two temples, or the two pine trees. So these are the two temples of Solomon's temple. And again, the Bible, enter your name here. It's all about us. It's all about human physiology. Solomon's temple is your head, is your heaven, and it all exists within you. And remember, 11, 22, 33 are the master numbers. 11, 22, 33 are the master numbers. The master number 11 is because everything happens, the 22 and the 33 happen within the 11. The 11 are the temples of Solomon's temple, which are your temples. And inside of your temples, on the sphenoid bone, which is this flat level plane of inertia that Josh is talking about, macrocosm, microcosm, the microcosm within us. The sphenoid bone is the flat, round, but flat, middle levitating earth. And above it, this is the Bible. Every single ancient spiritual book talks about it. Above it is the Ark of the Covenant. And inside the Ark of the Covenant is you, is your soul, is your essence. That's the third ventricle of the brain. That's the optic thalamus, child. That's the pineal gland, father. That's the pituitary gland, the mother. That's you. That's everything is right in this, on this plane of inertia in between the two temples. That's the 11. So Josh is talking about level being a word for balance, harmony, peace, homeostasis, which is the whole purpose. If we're going to be here in this duality, we have to achieve balance between two worlds. So the word level is so key, because in between the two temples of the Father, that's the holy place of the Father, is between our two temples. That's exactly how it works. Is the word Eve. Eve.
Mm-hmm. As
the
in
mother of the sacred feminine between the Father. Go ahead, Josh.
I was going to say, as the 11, is L even, and this is why the Freemasonries have always showed the twin pillars. Freemasonry is about freeing the mother's son, and there is an AL and an EL, and these are the two bulls of the Bible.
Oh, brilliant, Josh! It is, folks.
This is the fundamental secret with language that can show you the truth, whether you have any gnosis or not. Your gnosis is ingrained within your DNA, and your consciousness knows absolutely everything. If you can connect to the higher form of awareness, the light raises within you, and you have access to unlimited information. Now, information can only save you from the world. Again, the earth, the E and the A, RTH, which is the ether, and the alpha, physical full magnetic vibration, which is a plane of inertia from the two energies of the positive and negative, or the masculine and feminine, creating, as they touch at such a point. If we can look at the letter X in our minds right now, and we can see that there's a masculine symbol and a feminine symbol. This is why X marks the spot, because right at the center, if you can connect those energies at such a close proximity, there's a discharge of plasma, which is creation, which is ether. Now, this ether here is the spot that we all need to join. And when we can become a reciprocating hyperboloid ourselves in our own energy fields, this is the eternal life. And how we can do this in a simple, easy step is to progress slowly. And I would suggest first starting with food, because food is your form. and healthy food is heal thy, and the meal is me all. So what we need to do is become one with our food, understand the true nature of our existence here on this plane. Because even if you do not carry gnosis and you start your journey via food, you will slowly rise up through the energy fields and you will feel a connection to the divine. Have you had personal experience with this, Charlie?
As you well know, I absolutely have. And it's how I'm able to do what I do. And like I said, since February, when Colleen and I became aware of what was happening to the children, and the weight of this gnosis came crashing down upon us, of how dark and evil everything was. I really made a pact within myself to make myself available 24/7, 365 until this is completed, until the takedown is finished, so that I could dedicate to sharing this truth as much as I possibly can. And so, as I think most of you now know, and Colleen well knows, is that I've had far more nights without any sleep whatsoever than I have with sleep. How do you do this? I do this because the two temples, the AL and the EL, the two lights of the Bible, Old Testament AL, New Testament EL, the two temples are in peak condition. And they are in peak condition because Josh has helped me so much also to see the plane of inertia that exists right in between. X marks the spot. X always marks the spot. And right in the center of you see the womb above and you see the phallic symbol below. Okay, so that's why the X is just such a perfect, that's why it's right at the end of the alphabet, the book that Josh and I are writing. That's why it's right at the end of the alphabet, because this is the ultimate. X, Y, and Z are what we're supposed to become. This is the goal. This is the way. And so it's showing you in plain sight. So yes, right in between there is that balance. And because I stay upon the level, I'm on the level. What I teach to you, what Josh is teaching to you, is on the level. Hey, Charlie, are you being level with me? I'm absolutely level with you. Josh and I are 100% absolutely being level with you. And how do you know? There are a few people out there that attack and say nasty little things, and that's just because I've called out some of the biggest names and just said to them, stop lying, start telling the truth. Okay, had enough of your lies, start telling the truth. So they strike back in little childish ways. Okay, how do you know that what Josh and I are telling you is 100% absolutely the truth? Because it resonates 100% within you. It flows within you. You come to realize it. It's like after listening to Josh and I, a day later, 2 days later, sometimes 3 days, a week later, it just fully hits you. And that's because it's the truth, that the truth lingers, the truth stays, the truth builds your foundations. That's what you're doing. You're building a new home inside of you within the pineal gland. You're turning the desert into the rock of rocks, the home of homes, which is the diamond. And that's what happens to the pineal gland when you use it. So Josh absolutely knows. And so what I would just simply say, what we're going to do for you today is Josh expertise and perhaps my expertise, which is the introductory levels to these two realms. So Josh is talking about where do we start? He's absolutely right. We have to start with our food, and then there's just a basic understanding to who we are, and therefore what our food should be. And then I can also help you. Josh knows all of this as well. He's just a true genius. But I can help you again with the introductory level to the metaphysical realm. And that is the introductory to food, is the introductory to the physical realm. The introductory to the metaphysical realm is breathing. You control your breathing, everything else falls into place. You control your food with regard to the body, everything else falls into place. These are the basic building blocks of your success. This is how you build this X. This is how you create the plane of inertia, and you're building it on a diamond, the strongest substance known to man. and no tempest can tear it down. So let's jump back to Josh, and Josh, let's just start going through this with who are we, and therefore what should we be eating?
Yeah, I would say that we've always been given the key words from the Matrix itself, and they always say that the universe is expanding, but the truth is consciousness is expanding.
Right.
So what we got to realize is we're on a natural path of evolution as awareness or consciousness, but if you could imagine that our awareness has been hijacked by thought forms via a matrix system for our awareness to expand, does that make sense
Oh yeah.
to you? Yeah, then what we need to do is realize that there is a fundamental basis to our technology, which is our avatar or our physical body. And the things that are here within the matrix system are there to stop our natural progress of evolution or our conscious evolution. So when you've read things over time, I don't know what level everybody's on, but say 15 years ago, you read that food dumbs you down. And then you kind of see that there is a possibility that it does dumb you down, and fluoride and all of these other things, the chemtrail, the pharma, the vaccines, the toothpaste, the microwave, oil, pesticides, tap water, MSG, table salt, GMOs. All of these things here are actually suppressing your light, suppressing your awareness, and suppressing your connectivity or receptivity to
Yeah.
inception. So why we need to remove these things out of our consumption is because they are blocking your natural process of evolution, your conscious evolution, your activation to the next level. So the most important thing you can do is to clean the phi cycle or the physical body you have out by removing anything that's been processed, anything that has had the hand of man, and anything that's been given to you by a corporation. So the corporate or the corporation world would be the ego. And the earth there is to replenish you and to heal you holistically and help you grow. So anything from the shops there is not serving your body anything. So as a part of your awareness, it's great to start throwing out the things that have been commercialized. And then when you get to the highest point or a higher point, you can see that the food that you're getting, even if it is whole foods in its holistic form, they have energy forms that don't like going to work, touching the food, and the water carries memory. So the water in that food has memory and needs cleansing, but also is grown commercially with 3 minerals. So that food there should be grown by yourself. And as you have a seed or it passes through your body, this seed then understands and knows what's going on with the internal chemistry, and it will produce a certain level of enzyme or a certain level of vitamins or minerals that may be lacking within your physical body. And the food has a wonderful, I would like to say, meeting with you. And this is why the Bible says that the fruit-bearing seed is for you for meat. It is not on about flesh, it is on about the meeting of 2 energy forms becoming one, a meal, a meal. And this is why we must truly understand what food is for our human body. Now, our body uses glucose. And what our body wants to do is convert that as energy in the easiest way, which is fruit. If we are eating the fruit in its holistic form, it's converted within the body, assimilated the amino acids straight to the proteins of the body. Now, proteins are non-existent. They're not a food source. Your body makes proteins via the amino acids, which then code to the body to make your genetic makeup. That's why a mango can make a cow, or a mango can make a man. I'll let you interject because it's nice to be able to go back and forth if you want to add anything.
Oh, it's just so brilliant, and it's just so true. And all I want to just quickly interject is just again what Josh is saying here at the beginning is that folks, we're called frugivores. The reason that we're called frugivores is because we match this entire group of species that are frugivores, that eat raw foods, particularly fruit, some vegetables, some seeds, some nuts, but predominantly fruit, fresh in the moment. And what do you see with all of these frugivores? These frugivores are quick, athletic, of both the mind and the body. They are
Strong.
level, they are balanced, they're in strong, the strongest creations. Again, you know, if you, too bad we don't have the video, but if you could again see Josh and I are, you know, are both just eat fruit, and both of us are strong, strong, strong. If somebody would dare try to challenge either of us, you are going to get a powerful resistance, because we are strong. Strong because of the diet of the body and the mind. Go ahead, Josh. Beautiful.
So yeah, it's very important that we just understand how the physiology works, and to get into the mind logically, I think there's a good way to understand it, that, you know, no food really, we can't really say is an acidic food. What it is acidic forming to the body.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you're talking about a lemon, it's an acidic food, but to the body it's alkalizing. How could this be? Your body wants simple sugars, and that's all that it wants. And anything other than a simple sugar needs to be converted within the body to then use as a fuel, which is glycogen. If it's a toxic food or a processed food that your body cannot recognize, it's very hard to make it itself. So what it will do is it will store it on the body as toxic waste around your waist or around the avatar. And until your body has enough enough minerals or enough fruit that it can recode that to itself, it's going to stay within the body. Legumes and you know, these things like peas, chickpeas, nuts, seeds, all of these things there can be consumed by your physical body, but the process or the breaking down of them is very acid forming. So in doing so, it's not optimum food for your physiology, and this will deplete your body from mineral storage, thus not raising your vibration to the highest level. If you have any sickness or disease, the best thing that you can do would be to remove the insoluble fiber, which is just your poo, which is very strange where the Matrix say that their food has this many grams of fiber when the food that you consume should be water and fiber. But this breakdown of this food there causes your body to go into acidosis again, which is depleting your store. So if you juice, you take out the fiber and you're allowing your body to over intake minerals. So in this process, your body can heal, remineralize the bones, because when your body is in acidosis, your mineral storage is within the bones, and they can deplete to such a rate that you then have no mineral storage that your body can use, and then you go into a chronic illness. And this is why juicing is very important. And at this stage, I think it'd be good to say that me and my family for the last 3 to 4 years have been offering our services to help heal beings with chronic illnesses, in palliative care, or you know, with terminal diseases. And we've had 100% success rate in reversing all these ailments, even beings that haven't been able to walk. So it's very important to understand the physiology. And if you or anyone you know would like help, please, you know, just get in contact with us. I've just started up a channel, Josh X, and we have an Instagram at XLFam, and just reach out to us, because we're here to help you. We're here to help mankind understand the true nature of his being. And anyone out there, please reach out, because this is key that you do, because there is no health in the healthcare service, only sickness and disease. There is no understanding, and yeah, please just reach out to us. We're here to help you guys.
And just to quickly insert here, about a month ago, I passed over one of our great friends via Facebook, a wonderful lady as part of a wonderful family in Australia, and their teenage son had been diagnosed with cancer, and a cancerous tumor on the pineal gland of all places. And the prognosis from the medical community was beyond dire in terms of the chances for survival. And Josh has been working firsthand with the family, and the results are where we're at right now after the surgery that was completed. Is things are looking very good and very positive, whereas just 2 weeks ago, the prognosis was a very, very quick, sudden death. And And again, this is all just through the basic gnosis of who we are and what the body needs, and what the body simply requires is a simple, pure sugar. When you do not provide this, then you are taking what I like to call Al the chemist, alchemy, away from alchemy, and you're turning him into a firefighter. You're turning him into a first responder of hell upon earth. When you partake in these evil, evil foods, that's all that Al the chemist is capable of doing. And you're devastating God's lands, because the glands are G lands. G lands are God's lands. This entire endocrine system is the most fabulous structure. I mean, again, like I always say to you, if you want to know all of these things that Josh and I know and know with certainty, you just need to know thyself. If you know thyself, then you're rich beyond description. The endocrine system, which is governed by the claustrum. The claustrum is the sainted claustrum. The sainted claustrum, because of the magic that it creates in healing us, taking us back from the very, very doorstep of death back to perfect health, giving us life. The claustrum is responsible for all new blood, is responsible for the corpuscles, is responsible for the white blood cells, so ultimately, therefore, the bones. It is pure magic. It is the sacred, saintly claustrum, Santa Claus. Santa Claus is Al the chemist, which is alchemist, alchemy. And all Al the chemist, Santa Claus, wants to do is what his true passion is, which is to be the shepherd of the Garden of Eden within you. And the Garden of Eden within you are the G lands. That's the endocrine system, which, by the way, is magnetic in its form and structure. And what comprises the endocrine system? It's your basic organs, your the essence of how your body is functioning. And again, all of your organs are governed over by these glands. And these glands produce secretions. And these secretions are brilliance beyond description. And they are a drop here, half a drop there, 3 drops here. It's just an absolutely incredible process. That's all that Al the chemist wants to do. And that's what's called preventative medicine. When you allow Al to be this, you have no idea what this does. It's not just physical health. As Josh has been telling you, when you do this, when you still the body by not having to go through this massive decomposition process of the crap that you're putting into yourself, when there's stillness inside, then this is what Al the chemist, Santa Claus, does. He is doing preventative medicine, which is allowing the light within you to flow, which is to rise. It's rising. And every single time your light rises higher within you, you're getting closer to God. Therefore, your gnosis is rising. Everything that is goodly, godly, and righteous is rising, all by just controlling what it is that you eat. Simple fruits give you everything your cells need. And as Josh said, protein, bullcrap. Your body produces all the protein that it needs by simply keeping your body healthy. Turning Al the chemist away from a firefighter, a first responder, putting out acidic fires, to becoming the healer.
Anyone in the gym circles knows that if they, I don't recommend taking any supplements, but anybody in the gym circle knows that they say amino acids are building blocks for protein. So if you're eating protein, you're eating another life form's amino acid coding block that's created that protein, and then your body then has to break down the protein into a sugar that your body can absorb. And this is acidic forming. There is only one type of food on the planet which does not form acidity or mucus, which is fruit. If you cook fruit or cook any other types of food itself, what you're doing is you're actually taking away the digestive enzymes that are there within the fruit or the food. Now the body has to make these digestive enzymes internally, and then that is acid forming itself. So the raw food is the only food we should consume. And if anybody, may disagree with that, there is only one species on this whole existence that cooks food. And there is only one type of being in this existence that's chronically ill. It's man, or person, should I say. And now there are obviously animals, pets, and things like this getting dragged into this type of food through the ownership of these animals, because their food is full of toxins as well. And now there's another business within the industry for vets. But there is only one natural food source for man, and it's fruit. And this is just key. We could go over this forever, but this video is not for that. But the fruit is of the earth. This is healing. This is reciprocating. Fruit, the definition is to bear a seed. Now the seeds see form, as in the word seed. D is form, and it says see, D, which is to see form. As to seek is to see K, which is eleven, which is balance in the mind, or the twin pillars, or the energies that be. So I think, that's a small amount of information on the food, but it's very simple and it's very basic. This is all we need to do. And our stomach, if you look at the word stomach, you can see that you store muck, which is sound, is energy, is a frequency, it's a vibration. This is where you store your energy, inside of your stomach. This is your life force. And if you're constantly digesting food, your body has no chance to store this energy. So you're constantly losing and constantly draining. If you have any disagreements with this, I suggest that you just try it for 7 days and see how you feel. And then cook some food, eat that food, and you will know. You will not be listening to hearsay. You will not be making any sort of judgment. You will know. And this is the difference between belief and knowing.
And knowing.
Knowing, to know is K now, which is balance now. Backwards is 1K, you've won balance. And belief is to be, lie, F. F is material, it's matter. So it's a material lie. This is a belief. We should not believe anything, we should know. And this is why we have our senses. And this is how we magnify sense, by the magnificence of 3, 6, and 9. Magnetism.
And again, folks, this is irrefutable what Josh is saying. And there are so many people that have done videos. You know that these are just people that are being hired to put out lies by the ultimately the cabal, but the meat and dairy industry in particular, meat, dairy, and egg industries. And so basically over the last couple of years, there have been literally tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of videos of people saying that they went vegan and they felt worse. And as soon as they got back to meat, dairy, and eggs, they felt better. Absolute 100% guaranteed lies. Absolute 100% guaranteed lies. You have to wake up to the fact that the vast majority of what's out there within this corpsoration system, this dead system created by the corporations, is a lie. You're getting a fraction. And that's why, we teach so often that a mind that wants to wander is an unwise mind. Because when you idly wander about with your thoughts, with the ability for something to enter into your mind, it is very unwise, because in the world out here on this physical plane, 99% of what's out there is a lie. Yeah. To be the truth, it has to be holistic. And so here's the first thing. Josh can attest to this as well. Colleen and I absolutely know when people are telling the truth and we're telling lies, especially about their food. When you are away from acidity, acidosis, for any length of time, it can be as short as 2 or 3 days. When you go back to anything that is acid forming, so like Josh said, just cooking your food again, you will notice it significantly. And the longer you're away, the effect upon you will be greater. So if it's 2 or 3 days, it may not be a massive jolt, but you'll feel it. You'll absolutely feel it. If
Yes.
you get rid of something and then you attempt to go back to it, the reaction will be stunning. So Colleen has been a little bit more nostalgic with regard to her food, used to be anyways. And Colleen would ever so often just want to go back and just try something and try to do it in a way that is even more healthy. As soon as this simple as ingesting a potato. And the moment that she did it, the results were literally catastrophic in that area or to that part of her body. Because that's how you know people are telling the truth. That's how you know people are lying to you about their diets. If you're truly vegan, and again, see, this is the key. Josh couldn't do that one with Mark. That came a week after Josh Santos and I did together. We did an incredible video on food and really what vegan or veganism is. And then a week later, Josh wasn't able to do it with Mark Devlin, and Mark just basically asked us to just focus on why do all of these people who try and go vegan, why are they failing? And of course, because they're not going vegan. All they're doing is they're exchanging one type of processed food for another processed food. If you're eating processed foods, you're eating death. So if you want to try and have life through death, good on you, but it isn't going to happen. You're just going to create acidosis. So it doesn't work. And so the only way to become vegan is to become raw. It's that simple. Aman Ra is a man raw. To become a man, you have to be raw. If you're not raw, you will not be a man. You will be crippled and diseased your entire life, and the light within you will not shine forth. It will not climb, and you have zero chance of resurrection. That's why Josh and I, when we talk to you about this, we always say to you, if you're participating in this industry that does this to our animals, so we're in a reality, my friends, you need to hear this. Every single year now, we are force breeding. Okay, and then they with a lot of these industries, they want a certain gender. If they don't get the gender they want, they're killing the birthed calf or the life form. If it's the gender that they don't want, they just kill it. And so they're force breeding north of 1 trillion species every year, and then they raise them in utter insanity, in complete lack of care and compassion. There's no mother at all. No, there's only the erect penis stabbing everywhere. That's all that exists on this plane of inertia anymore. It's just this erect penis that's just gone mad, and there's no mother left. So they're stabbing, and that's what we're doing to the animals. Their life is just pure horror, and then we kill them. And they can sense it. The cows, as I've shared with you, because we live amongst them here, cows are the most feeling, sentient creations there is. For evil, they're the perfect choice for a food source. Perfect because of how evil it is, because cows feel so much, and they're very emotional. And
the reason why they were sacred.
That's exactly right.
If a food source doesn't come from a cow, you should not drink cow's milk. Your body doesn't have digestive enzymes to digest any sort of milk past the age of 4. But the true gnosis and the true reasoning behind the holy cow is because a cow can be connected to a family so much. If someone passes in the family, the cow will shed tears, whether it's a mile away or not. And in that sense, this is why the cow's holy. And then also you have, India being a very peaceful place, and it was the most vegan country in the whole existence of this plane. But there's been a system and a slave system put in place for them because they are of that nature. Now, if you look at certain scriptures, which are doctrines, you'll see that they are told that they should eat grains, and they are told that they should have rice and the milk from these cows, etc. But this is their matrix, this is their trap. Because of the nature of their energy fields and the foods that surrounds them, you know, there is an information trap there, because their consciousness would just expand itself with the true nature of the fruit from the country. So there's always been a block in every single different type of corporation. But yeah, the cow is only holy because it was connected via the energy fields of that family, and it has such a pure energy, such a pure energy. And I wanted to also say, when you were speaking, that, you know, people may find it hard doing veganism or felt worse on a vegan diet, is because they don't truly have the holistic understanding. They are just copying a thought form, which is their egoic nature, and they're just, you know, they're just eating all these chemicals, and they're not truly in the holistic way. But if you start to eat holistic and you feel symptoms, what this is your body now has the capability to excrete these toxins from your body with the true food source. So you may experience things such as candida die-off. Now, candida is cancer, and this is a fungus. This fungus breeds within inside the body. If you can think of like foot rot, and you can visualize that at an extreme sort of an extreme way, you'll know that what you see in those feet is happening internally inside the body. Now, this foot rot could be inside the stomach. Now, this is leaky gut. Once the fungus eats through the stomach lining, you now have a leaky gut. Now the gut just needs to repair. But how can it repair in an acid environment which breeds candida? Most people eat sugar. This feeds candida. Most people eat meat. Candida eats meat. Now, this may be new to you. So what I will say here is there is viruses, bacteria, and fungus within the body. And they all have a huge part to play in the digestion of your food.
Exactly.
You need good bacteria to ferment the food within inside the body, to take minerals away from it. But what we don't have is a holistic understanding of these three things. Now, why do you need fungus, or why is there fungus? Because your body cannot process meat. Your body cannot process dairy. Your body cannot process processed food or chemicals. So the fungus breeds inside the body to consume these dead matter. Fungus eats dead matter. Bacteria ferments the food. Viruses are made internalized within the body. They're floating proteins. And what they do is they attach to the bad bacteria, and they pull it in the body. So if you understand these three things, you can almost change the way that your thoughts or your expression from your own nature is expressing, and you can start to change the dimensions of your own being. Just with these three things, then common sense will come into play, that I don't have an acid stomach that I can just throw things in and it burns it away. There is a wonderful holistic way that our bodies work in tune with the food that we consume. And if we truly understand this, there's peace within inside the body. There is no ailments. There is no disease. Disease is man-made. And it's as simple as that.
It truly is. Sorry, go ahead, Josh.
I was just going to say, the veganism is an agenda. It's a more peaceful agenda. It's much better for the animals and the well-being of the earth, because mankind did not wake up to the fact himself. Now the the agenda pushers, or I'm trying to think of the word with the ment on the end, not the government, but the establishment, which establishes minds here. They have to bring forth this new agenda, because you cannot consume animals anymore. For example, if you look at the films back in the day, I'm going to use Demolition Man as an example, the one with Sylvester Stallone. You'll see that in the future, where he was brought out of his cryogenically freezing status, that meat was illegal, alcohol was illegal, and caffeine was illegal. Anything that was bad for the human body was illegal, and not to mention that pregnancies were illegal unless you have a license. So this is the way that they're showing you is going, but meat has always been bad for your body. It's not something new. It's just the awareness has caught up to the fact in a more mainstream way. And now it's time. Real, true philosophers, Philos ciphers, the cipher to lose the phi, to understand the true mechanics of the etherical nature of our universe. Uni, reversed, is in you. Yeah, this is the one. This is all one. This is when you're alone. You cannot look outside of yourself to find what's truly here. Everybody from and who is listening to this, you are searching for where you are looking from. And this is your pure state of awareness. And we're here to help guide you back to this state of being. I got nothing but love for everyone on this plane.
Man, I love you. I love when we're gifted the time to talk with each other, and I'm so very happy for everyone that you've put yourself in this position to be able to share all of this enormous wisdom with everyone, Josh. It is just so important and valuable. Folks, everything that Josh has just been talking about plays itself out perfectly. Josh knows this fully well within the pages of the Bible. We use that, we're Western based, and most of our listeners are Western based, but it plays itself out in the pages of the Egyptian Book of the Dead, and the Bhagavad Gita, and the Quran, and the sutras, everything. It's the story of you. All of these spiritual texts, these sacred spiritual texts, are about you, because you have to get yourself right before you can heave to the heat of the head in heaven. Heaven, head, heaven, heat are all the same word. It's the purpose. But you have to right your ship. Our ships, because of the Maritime Admiralty Law and bringing the maritime laws, that's what they've done to the mother. They've taken her off the land and they've dropped her into a rowboat upon the seas, and then they bring in these variations of the maritime laws upon the land. They're the only laws that exist ever upon the land are God's laws, and there are three, and they are so simple. This entire system of legality and illegality is illegality. It's nonsense. As Josh said at the beginning, it's the world, it's the construct, it's this false construct. Santos calls it the delusion. He's right. The world is the delusion. The earth is the truth, the light, the way. And the earth is a plane of inertia. And again, if you just knew yourself, if you knew the sphenoid bone inside of your head, of course you'd know that the earth is the plane of inertia. The planet Eartha is the plane of inertia. It's never moved. It can't move. You cannot have motion and achieve what we are designed to achieve, which is level, which is the balance, which is the story of the alphabet from A to Z. When Josh and I finish this book in the coming weeks and get this out to you, it's going to bring tears to your eyes, and then it is going to bring force and power to your muscles, to your bones, it is going to empower you with strength. It's a redo. It's a gift to redo everything, to relearn everything, because that's what we've been able to decode, is that this is a story, and the Bible is telling you the story. So for example, a lot of people say just not that big of a deal that they're clearly lying about the new year. So for us, every January 1st, for no reason that anyone can sort of really see, we celebrate the new year on January 1st. But you know what? It doesn't really matter. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. There is no life. They're reborning you. And this is the thing with people in the truth community who lie to you, who give you little bits of truth, stringing you along, and then they just dump you on this cul-de-sac of sin and hell and leave you there. This is the problem. You're better off staying within the matrix until such time that you come out into the holistic truth. Because if you only know bits and pieces, you're going to get stranded along the way. And there's infinite distractions, infinite, misrepresentations of the truth. And they're all just cul-de-sacs. They're just going to leave you in a dead end.
Be careful of the spreaders of hearsay and untruth.
Listen to the way Josh speaks to you. Listen to the way that I speak to you. We speak to you with knowingness. You know this. You know this to be true. And we say what we say. So Josh speaks eloquently. I'm not so eloquent, but we speak to you somewhat eloquently because we know 100%. We absolutely know. And we know because we do the work. We're doing the work. Colleen and I, Josh and Michelle, we do the work. We're doing the work. We're proving this for you in plain sight by doing the work. We're not teaching you something that is a theory that may exist, may not exist. No, we're doing the work. And the proof is in the proverbial pudding, the results of what you're seeing, what you're hearing, which is that light that is emanating. You can't even see Josh in this podcast today. I see him. I see him brilliantly and beautifully, just a shining light, absolute shining light, which is what we must become. So the Bible is you, and the Bible is this exact story that Josh was just talking about. And just so the new year, the end of the year is always a countdown, right? That's how you count into the new year, is by counting down the old year. So what is the old year? Well, it's March 21st. The last light of March 21st is the end of the old year. How do you know that to be true? 3, 2, 1, 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. Where does the sun rise on 3/22? By the way,
East.
Skull and Bones, 3/20. The sun rises on 3/22 on the 0-degree line of longitude, right? So right through Paris, right through London, the Rosicrucian, the rose, the flower of life, in that exact 0 degree of longitude is where the sun rises on exactly, perfectly, in the exact middle of the 0 degree of longitude on March 22nd. Okay, March is the third month. 3/21 is the day where each of the season ends. 3, 2, 1, 0 degree longitude. 0, 3, 2. What do we do at New Year's? 10, 9, 8, 7, 8, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Happy New Year. Happy New Year is 3/22. So why is Skull and Bones 3/22? Because they're the new year. They're the new world order. They're the new way, because they know. They don't practice any of this truth, but they stole this truth and they kept it hidden from us. But they know the truth. They know the truth, and they know how important the truth. That's why everything they do is all based on these dates. 9/11, COVID-19, the year 2020, 19 years after 2001, 9/11, 19 years later, in the year 2020, which is their upside down vision, false vision to us, right vision to them, false vision to us. They unleashed COVID-19, which is 19 years after 9/11. What's 9/11? 9, God consciousness. 11, the twin towers, the twin temples of Solomon's temple, which is your mind. Strip the temples away, remove the 9, remove God out of this message. And this is the disturbing thing about the truth movement and about so many of these spiritual people that are out there, beautiful people who really, really, really believe in this stuff. And they're just constantly going on and on and on about an uncaring, unfeeling nebulous known as the universe, instead of a creator. Kriya, to make. Kriya, create. Tor, T, the physical, or gold. The creator, Kriya, the maker of golden form. The creator is the created creation. Kriya, T, ion, the physical ion of the making from the creator.
Brilliant.
And we are the children. We're the golden children of the golden creator on this golden earth. And what do all of these demons, what did they want, desire, possess more than anything else? What did they stole from us from the beginning? And all these tales, and the Anunnaki and all these aliens that came here, and what have they been stealing? Gold. Everybody's stealing gold. What's an alchemist? What's an alchemist? Apparently, it's somebody who turns lead or worthless metals, worthless thoughts into golden thoughts. That is the alchemist turning worthlessness into true treasure, true value, true riches, the riches
Gold.
of which is gold, which is gold. So it's all there for you in the Bible. And again, as we approach, think about this in the Bible, how perfect and detailed this book is. As we approach the new year, which is tied into this resurrection of the man who did it for us, and the first man through the wall, through the breaches, always gets bloody. The first one through always gets bloody. That's why Jesus is associated with blood, because he went through first for the rest of us. That's what it implies. And he did this on the countdown, 3, 2, 1, 0, to regenerate forever at the right-hand side of the Father. Okay, what leads up to the 3, 2, 1, 0 countdown? The 40 days of Lent. Why are the 40 days of Lent there? Why are they there? Because we have
Purification.
to take the 40, the number 40, the number 40. Why is the number 40 always in a desert? Moses wandered the desert for 40 years. Jesus was tempted in the desert for 40 days and 40 nights. Everywhere you look in these scriptures, in these ancient scriptures, you'll always see the number 40, which is this purification process to be worthy of the ascension. And that's why Lent comes before the new year.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
4 tie is the 4, which is form, and it's tied to the 0 or the O, which is the womb creation, the dialectic generator, this existence. So your form is merging with the 0, and the reason why it rises in the east, or the word east has been given to us as a synchronization, as a part of our existence, is the E and the A together, and the S and the T. S represents sine wave, T represents physical. So to rise in the east is the E and the A in the sine wave of the physical. Now this is where we need to begin, and our journey will just begin. There is so much more to this existence. And as you were saying, the creation, you've done it so eloquently and beautifully, but I'd like to add that, the word creation, you can see and Ria. Ria is area. And then you have T, which is physical, and then ions. So creation is to see the area of physical ions. This is the creator, to see the Ria, or the area of physical or toruses. And this is life. This is magnetism. And if we truly understand the holistic nature of magnetism, we can see God. And I know many people out there say that if a man says that he knows what God is or who God is, then he's a fool. I can truly say to you, I feel it. I know it. I am it. And it took me a long time to be able to feel this. Don't give up on your journey. You must continue. And with these little tips, if they were around when I was young, I would have got her a lot sooner, because I seek. And that is all I have ever wanted to do, was to seek to break bound Aries, as we are bound to Aries, and we must rise or arise from the east. Freemasonry is not some dark secret. There is a truth, but there is a worldly truth and there is an earthly truth behind everything. We must not get drawn into the world. And as you were speaking about the law itself, look at the word law, reverse it, it's a wall. You can get lost in the left brain with the law by freeing yourself. There's 2 fundamental things you must know, and the Bible gives you these answers. The 1611 King James Bible. Are you a man of the earth, or are you a person of this world? Now the Bible says God is not a respecter of persons. Now we can look at this with the fundamental basics of legalese, or we can look at it as the true personification of man, the identity crisis that we've all gone through. Are you a person? No, a person legally is a corporation. You are not a legal fiction. But if you identify yourself, you're bringing your left brain in again. So now God cannot see through your eyes. You must remove thought. Take no mind to thought, and God itself will flow within your being. It will flow within your veins, and you will become life. And there is no entity outside of yourself that could ever bring or should ever prosper against your being, because you are the truth. If you understand this, you are free. This is freedom, freeing the dominion. If you have an entity that you feel with inside of your being has a control over you, you have a demon. Now that demon must be exorcised. And you do this yourself with what? The truth. And there is only one truth, Charlie, as you so forthly proclaim all the time. It's holistic. It's free. It's love. And we are this, but we have a left brain ego. We have a left brain system. And all of the truthers out here seem to get lost into the fact that the world is the left brain. We uncover lies. Lies backwards is to see ill. We must reveal the truth. We must reveal the light. We must reveal the true divine nature of our existence and its conscious expansion, conscious evolution. We are consciousness and we are all one. If we can flow this through our perception and we become receptive to the true truth, we truly are Neo in the Matrix. We truly see the code. We truly are one. As I breathe, you breathe. As the cars that pass, they breathe through me. I am completely one with existence. And I would love to share this with every single being on the earth. The penal system is all pen. It's a penal system. You write sentences or prison sentences, depending on the words that you spoke, or if you've signed something with your signature, it's your sign of nature. You cannot be named. The word name is na me. It's not me. You are not a person and you are not a name. You are unnamed. You are free. You are I, and that is it. So you truly start to understand these things and you will free yourself. Contracts have tricked everybody from the Indians to this day. And the only reason why land got took from them was because someone grabbed a pen and someone signed something.
And then somebody showed up with a battalion of weapons, and the vast majority stood by and said, yeah, I don't think I'll get involved this day. It doesn't directly involve me. And that's what we've done until now. And now everyone is directly involved by this raping of the land, raping of the truth. And folks, Josh, that was just so beautiful. It's pure truth, pure light, pure truth. Truth is the way, truth. What you get with a lot of the new age spiritualism is this light and love. Love can be misconstrued by our senses. Look at all the things that persons have done in the name of love. Okay, in the name of religion, in the name of love. Love can get skewed all the time, and we become skewered when we are skewed. So the truth is the only thing that matters because it embodies everything that is righteous. So if you value love so much, embrace the truth, because I guarantee you the love is the major component to truth, but it is found through the truth. Because there is no other thing than the truth. That is the thing that you need to understand. Josh and I, when we came to this understanding between each other, is that everything in this reality, the fallen reality, we were once in the singularity with God in heaven, and we have fallen into the duality, okay? And here in this duality, everything is a duality defined by its polar opposite, okay? Everything has, and the reason for that is the gift of free will. God wants you to love him out of free will, not to scare you into loving him. Josh and I would greatly appreciate and love if you loved us, but only if we're worthy. Only if we're worthy. We have no interest in tricking you or scaring you into liking or loving us. When it comes through your own free will, that's the most beautiful thing that there is. And of course, that's the Father. That's why we have the ability to disconnect ourselves as far as we can possibly get from the Father, because it is free will. So everything in this realm is a duality defined by its polar opposites, except right and wrong. There's a right and there's a wrong. And that's it. There's no infinite gray scale between them. Right and wrong is black and white. It's the only thing that's black and white, right and wrong. And that's right and left. That is the right hemisphere of the brain, the left hemisphere of the brain. And when you're in the left hemisphere of the brain, by definition, what are you doing? What did Josh say? You're taking thought. When you're in the right hemisphere of the brain, what's the only way you can get into the right hemisphere of the brain? Why are all of these artists the ones who are constantly discovering truth through their artwork, their form? They didn't go into art necessarily to become the greatest truthers in the history of mankind. They've become that way because becoming artistic is a form of meditation. So you're stilling the mind. You're not taking thought. What do most artists say about their greatest creations? I even feel embarrassed taking credit for this or that or the next thing because it just flowed to me. And it flowed to me in short order. It came to me like that, and I created it. And it's incredible that I would even put my name to it because it just came through me. That's what they say. That's the right hemisphere of the brain, and that's taking no thought. Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is through the formless, and I truly know that my temple has been built through the formless. There is a certain level of awareness you need to get to via the intellect, but the intellect's a big form of your trap. The ego will hide as the intellect. You must overcome these things. So once you've got yourself where you've built your temple to a certain level, you must allow the energies that surround you to flow in by applying the knowledge that you've acquired. Now, this is key. And I wanted to say the word love itself to me is not, I think we identify love with a feeling or an emotion, but this is a materialistic way of looking at love. Like, love is truth. Love is awareness. Love is God. The meaning itself, if we look at the mathematical word meaning or mean, it means average. Now, the meanings we have here are just the average perception of what the matrix has given people to think via the thought forms that's been created for man to fall trapped to. We are love by nature, but by nurturing of the matrix has created a split paradigm, and now we've become this egoic entity that has beliefs, fallen away from the truth. But even in the word fall, you see the F, matter, and the A, the alpha, and then there's the double L's. And we need to bring the L back by understanding the holistic way of the Bible, which means two bulls. Now, if you know that the L is the 12th letter of the alphabet, you'll see that 12 is a full circle. And this is why 12 is such an important number. If you listen to the phonetics of 12, you see twa, which is TW, which is entwined. And then you have EL, which is the L, or the other L of the etherical full circle, which would be the blue shift. If you are struggling to follow this, I've just done a great video with Michelle, and it's just come out on our channel to break down A to Z quickly so people can understand these things. But truly love is God, and we are all of this love awareness. If we can find it, this is true peace. True peace.
And again, the only place that you can find it is through truth. So what we must value above all is truth. And that's why, like Josh described, exactly how Colleen and I would describe ourselves as well, which are the seekers, constantly seeking to go from the apprentices to the masters, the master. And that's why, you know, there's always been these two incredible analogies, allegories for those of us who, which is all the children of God, seeking for that connection to God, was seeking for the truth. And on the land that is the Bedouin upon camel, constantly chasing the rising sun to the east in seek of his fortune. And upon the seas, it is the sailor who needs to become the captain of the vessel and have the captain's eye. And once you possess the captain's eye, then you go from ship to shore, and you find that those riches, you find that treasure, because X always marks the spot. X always marks the spot, but you have to go from ship to shore.
And the most quickest way to that would be to eat food from your own garden, or find land, throw out the money changers, and walk on water. Maritime admiralty law, law of the sea. You don't need to be involved with that. You don't need to identify yourself with a persona or a name. You are divine. And if you know this, you are protected. You are free. Is only thought forms or thought forms of information out there to trap your awareness. And this is all information is. Information can trap you and it can free you. But you've got to understand the power of information, the power of thought, and the power of now. And being in the now, look at the word, it says one, you know, backwards, one. And that is truly the way to be now.
And the incredibleness, Josh, you well know, is that for well over 99% of people in this worldly paradigm that currently has taken the breath of all of us, or the vast majority, that they live in the past, dreading the future. And there is no past, and no future is ever, ever, ever coming to you. All that can exist, will exist, does exist is the now. And that's why when you're in the now, you've won. What's the only way to cross over the river and enter into the Holy Land, the promised land flowing with milk and honey? The only way is to be here and now. If you're not in the now, you cannot ever cross that river. Again, look at it from a physiological standpoint. I've spent so much time and effort looking into accurately mapping out the accurate map of the brain. There is no entrance from the left brain into the right brain. There's no entrance from the left brain into the third ventricle. Doesn't exist. If you're in your left brain, you cannot get to the promised land flowing with milk and honey. The promised land is the third ventricle of your brain. That's your consciousness. That's your soul. That is the essence of you. When that leaves this avatar, when that leaves this physical form, then this avatar, which is of the mother of the earth, will return back to the mother of the earth. But if the consciousness does not leave this physical form will simply continue to do what it does, which is regenerate. Why do we go east? Why the symbology of the sun rising and re-rising every single day in the east? It's called regeneration. Jesus was resurrected. Okay? Resurrection. Do you know what resurrection means? Regeneration.
RESS. Those 4 letters you need not say anymore, but it's resurrect that ions. But the RE is to rightfully establish in these 2 S's are the 2 sine waves. This is mission. This is my double S ions. And these 2 S's are the 2 sine waves that create 8, which creates light, which creates life. It's the hyperboloid. This is creation, this is existence. If you have the eyes to see it, it will mold your whole beingness and hug you like a big blanket. It's an incredible perception. It's an incredible thing to be one with God. Every man has the capacity and capability, and the capacity is a cap. It's the capabilities or your capabilities, and the abilities are a bylight. And this bylight is the Bible. Sorry, Charlie, carry on, mate.
Oh, again, it's so brilliant. And again, there's just this general within the truther community, again, who seem to think that they know everything, but they don't. They don't. I'm going to go over this allegory of the fourfold nature of man and the 12 tribes of the sons of Jacob in just a moment here. But this is where we go wrong all the time. Is this false gnosis of things where we just think we know, we think we know, we think we know. Fourfold nature of man: north, south, west, east. To the east is the light, is the way. And there's only one there, which was Judah. Okay? Judah, the lion king, the lamb becoming the lion to the rising sun in the east. Everything from Judah is west. Doesn't matter if it was northwest or southwest or directly west, it's still west. It's still west. The allegory of west is death. The allegory of east is regeneration, is resurrection. So like Josh said, rightfully establishing the double S. The double S, the Ida and the Pingala, okay? Which is connecting from the Pingala, connecting from the pineal, which is the father, in a masculine male to a testicle. And the Ida, which is the pituitary gland, which is the sacred feminine mother, yin and yang, is connecting to the other testicle. Or if it's in a woman, it's the ovaries. And this is the symbolization of rising upon the ladder, which is the spine, Jacob's ladder, 33 levels, so that we can cross the blood-brain barrier and enter into that one place where we are alone, but we discover that you're never alone, because alone is all one. And that's where we have to get to. And this is the double sine wave. And so when you watch these dualistic serpents, the masculine and the feminine, they're intertwining, as Josh said, around one another, around the straight and the narrow, which is the only way to God, the straight and the narrow path. There's nothing more straight. And of course, what does the spine do? It continually contracts in, it narrows, it narrows, it narrows, it narrows, it narrows. And so they're rising. And when you look at this entire process of the feminine and the masculine, Joseph and Mary, the honey and the milk, and electricity and magnetism, when you look at all of these beautiful allegories of our dualism, what happens when they cross the blood-brain barrier, crucifixion? Cruci means to cross, because Atlas is the capstone. You can't get through. Nothing gets through Atlas. It's a capstone. All the other vertebrae, the previous 32, have openings, okay? So you can rise, but you cannot rise past Atlas. Everything, blood, nerves, whatever it is, to get into the brain, they have to cast their net to the right. It's not left, by the way, it's to the right. Everything casts its net to the right, and it connects with the pneumogastric nerve, pneumo, lungs, gastric, stomach. This all goes back to what Josh is talking about with the food, gastric, which is, your light energy, which has fallen into your gut rot, your leaky stomach, and then you'll have leaky bowel syndrome because of your leaky stomach. And so your light has fallen into your gut. That is, again, this physical plane in the physical way. The lungs, pneumo, higher, rising, air, meditation, coming to the baptism of fire is the higher way. And, that's why it's the tree of life, left hemisphere, right hemisphere, right? And by the way, when you look at the pneumogastric, which is the tree of life within you, because the trunk of the tree of life is the spine, and the flowering of this nerve, the pneumogastric nerve, the flowering takes place within your lungs. And if you look at it, you literally, if you pulled the rib cage back away from a human being, you would see it inside of you. You see the trunk of the tree, which is the spine, and then you will see this flowering of the pneumogastric nerve in the pneumo, in the lungs, and you will see the two cherubim, you will see the two cerebrum, you will see two halves of the two parts of the brain. You'll see the two halves of the tree of life, which is the left brain and the right brain, the left brain and the right brain. And so when we get to Atlas, which is a capstone, you can't go any further. So you have to cast thy net to the right, have to cast thy net to the right. What is to the right? East, Judah in the east. And if you don't cast your net to the Lion King in the east to see the rising sun re-rising every single day, then you, by definition, have to go to the west, to the left, and west is death. So in our fourfold nature, the allegory goes like this. These are 4 of the 12 sons of Jacob, who was given the Holy Land because he crossed the river, fought his ego for a day, and then saw God in a place called Pineal, Genesis 32:30. The fourfold nature man, to the north is Dan, to the south is Reuben, and to the west are the twin sons with the bloody red swords, Simeon and Levi, okay? So the allegory of Simeon and Levi to the west is just the dual bloody red swords, because that's what it is. It's just constant, both sides, constant Greed, lust, violence, death, bloody red.
Sins.
The West. Sin. Hollywood is in the West, right? San Francisco is in the West. Las Vegas is on your journey, on your way to the West. And these lands, these dens of sin that are literally on fire right now, by the way, biblical. And to the south, as I said, was Reuben the reckless. Reuben is known as your emotions, okay? And we're reckless because we allow the emotions to rule over our 5 physical senses, which, by the way, are at the capstone of Atlas. The 5 physical senses are the 5 chakras of the superhighway, okay? So there are 5 chakras within the body. There are 2 chakras above the body, and there are 5 senses in the body. Yeah, you can make the connection. Yep.
Animals have 5 chakras as well as 5 senses. Animals, this is your animalistic being. You must rise above it as a super being.
That's right. That's exactly right. And then to the north, where you think you're going to cross over, you think that you have risen, you think that you are all this and all that, which is the ultimate expression of the ego at its ultimate, is Dan of the north. And what is Dan known as? He's the viper, the snake, the serpent, the viper who lays who lays murking within the weeds at the side of the road for wary travelers. So a mind that wants to wander is an unwise mind, because
like
Dan, the serpent, is waiting, the asp.
Yeah. That's like Pan in the Abyss. If you can correlate Pan or the Knight of Pan with occult work, you can see that this is exactly the same. Carry on, sorry, brother.
Yeah, so just really quickly to wrap that up. So it doesn't matter where you go, anything that's not to Judah and the re-rising of the sun every single day in the east is to the west. Okay, and then the allegory of emotions, and then false intellect, Dan in the north, false intellect, you think you know it all, but you don't. You have talking points, you know no truth. Reuben the reckless, ruled over by emotions, and then greed, lust, violence in the west. Simeon and Levi, the twin swords, the bloody red swords. So that's why, and you have to cast thy net to the right, which is what everything within our body does to be able to get into the brain, which is the blood-brain barrier, which is here. And that is where the pneumogastric, or the vagabond nerve, the vagus nerve, vagus vagabond nerve, the wandering nerve, is the prodigal son who needs to return home. And the only way the prodigal son can return home, cast thy net to the right. And that's that little teeny weeny entrance that gets you into the brain. And you see this movement where you have to come out into the right and then back in against essentially your neck or your jawline, is this crucifixion. Cruci in Latin means cross. Crucifixion is crossifixion. This is where everything within you has to rise. Josh, what did Josh say to you about your food? The very basic understanding of your food, you need to think of it as light. When you're eating the wrong foods, the light within you is gut rot, and it will not rise. And you'll have stomach problems the rest of your life, and your light will not rise. Your light needs to rise within you, and you do so with your breathing and with the foods that you eat. When they rise up, they will crucify. Crucify is to crossify, which is casting thy net to the right and then crossing back over into the brainstem. Where does that take you? It takes you to a place called the fourth ventricle, which is a canal. It's like the canals of Venice. Oh, and the only way into the third ventricle of the brain is through this path that is truly straight and narrow, which is the fourth ventricle of the brain. And folks, the ultimate allegory of all allegories is this entrance into the fourth ventricle, or through the fourth ventricle into the third ventricle, is characterized by this ancient allegory, which is the eye of a needle. And that story attributes to the ancient city of Jerusalem and the east gate of Jerusalem. The cross, or the beam, the truss, at the top of the entrance, or the east gate, was very, very low to the ground, ridiculously low to the ground, so that the Bedouin who was seeking treasures, the riches of this world, when he was coming back home to Jerusalem, Jericho, Jerusalem, they just mean the third, they're allegories for the third ventricle of your brain coming home. When they came back home, there's no way for the Bedouin and the camel to just mosey on through with their on top, with their proud, with all of their riches that they've earned themselves. They could not get back into Jerusalem or the third ventricle upon high and mighty upon the camel. So the Bedouin had to come off. Then the seat of the Bedouin upon the camel, without carrying all the riches, had to come off. Then the camel had to get down on its hands and knees. It's the only way for these camels to get through this eastern gate was on their hands and knees. They won't go, the camel on its hands and knees won't go forward because it's too frightened. It requires its mastar to be in front of it. And so the Bedouin had to get down on his hands and knees, and together, they entered back into the ancient city of Jerusalem from the east. Humble, penitent,
To get her.
penitent man. Go ahead, Josh.
So to get her, the etymology and together you see is to get her, and she be Mother Earth. And I was going to say that, you know, the prodigal son, in the word prodigal, you can see pro-di, which is pro is for, and di is perfect balance. You have a dipolar state, which is perfect balance, which creates plasma. So prodigal is the cool for di, as in miracle is miracle. And the cross, if you look at the word cross, you'll see ROSS. Now, this is the double sine waves, but not only is the crucifixion cross in fiction, it's cross in fiction, which is falsity. It's not true. So we must cross the fictional barrier of the left brain ego, or the world, which is raw without L form, and overcome all of these things. We must not love the world or anything in it. Now, we have the tree of life, which we were speaking of, which is the Sephiroth. Now, the Sephiroth has 10 main Sephiroths and 22 pathways. V is the feminine, it's the master number 22 as well. But if you look at the word maintenance, you'll see there's main 10 onces. Onces are something that carries measure or carry vibration, as in a cent once, or a sentence is the once that's been sent. So also broken down, the once is the ether ending, seeing the ether. So what you're doing is actually ending an etherical alpha sine wave and moving forth to the ether and connecting to the higher vibration. But there's main 10 onces, there's a main 10 on the Sephiroth, and there's 22 pathways here. And if we can understand these holistically and we can work on these practically, then we can find ourselves vibrating at the highest form, here and now. It's inside of us all, and there is no other way apart from you taking your own life, taking your own existence, existence, and becoming one with the mother, or one with the source.
And folks, that is just absolute genius. And this is the heart of what I've been sharing with you in every single podcast. This is the Kundalini rising. And it literally works like this. As Josh said, 22 is the mass star number for the sacred feminine. 11, 22, 33, which equals 66. 6 and 6 is 12. 1 and 2 is 3, which is the Holy Trinity. It has to be, it always has been Father, Mother, Child. And the 22 is the sacred feminine. She is trapped underneath the earth. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so she's trapped underneath the earth. And within the superhighway within us, which is our chakra system, that's the Muladhara root chakra. Nobody can deny that. The care and compassion is buried deep, deep down within us. Absolutely it is. So 10 of the Sephiroth, which is this growth up to the light, 10 is many things. One of the things that 10 is, which is the completion in the physical realm, 10 digits. But 10 is aten, which is atum, which is Adam and Eve. So 10 is also the journey of man, And the only way that man can rise up is through the mother. Now, this all ties in with what Josh was just saying. Josh started all of that with this understanding of plasma and what plasma does, and what it represents. Plasma is magnetism. And you see, plasma flows when you have balance. That's what we were just talking about. That's how Josh tied this together. When the prodigal son returns home, returning home is bringing back the peace of mind. The peace of mind that is missing because the left brain is ruling over the ego, which remember I described to you, this is the erect penis, and it just stabs.
What's missing? It tells you in the word, my SS in G.
Yep, that's right. It is the sine wave, which is the graceful, beautiful mother that is rising. R and S, R rising, and the sine wave rising is the Kundalini. So you see it right there. So this 10 and 22 of the Sephiroth, again, you think this stuff is just childish or worthless or just, ancient stuff and it's beyond knowing. And it's you. It's you. It's how you work. It's what you must do to come to know you. So this 10 is Adam, which is all is a tomb. We are all connected to the one. We have to get back home to the one, which is that third ventricle of the brain. So that's where we have to get to. And we do this through Adam, 10, Adam, which is man. And the only way that man can rise, if you want to raise the chrism oil, if you want Jesus Christ to rise up to the right-hand side of God, he has to do so through the sacred feminine, or the sacred feminine mother, who is the only person in this biblical tale when Jesus in the tomb for 2.5 days, the fornix rolls back. The stone in front of the tomb rolls back, and Jesus appears, who's the only one there wearing red, a red cape, was Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene is the magnetic mother. The magnetic mother is the Kundalini rising. And that's why she's there. She has to be there, or Jesus doesn't rise back home, because electricity is a downward causation. Nikola Tesla. 100 years ago, we had a chance to do this right and to achieve righteousness upon earth through the discoveries of Nikola Tesla, which were tied to God. Instead, we took this left-hand path through the Jesuits and Einstein and a world of theories that saw us as flukes, random occurrences, flukes of evolution. And there's aliens, and there's infinite space out there, and there's no barrier, there's no protection. They can come in whenever they want, and they've been doing it for millions of years, and all we are is just science experiments of these reptile aliens and stuff. Doing believing in this stuff? What are you doing believing in this stuff? You are the pinnacle of God's creation. You are the highest high and the holiest of holies. You are gifted 2 temples, that of the body and the mind, so that you can excel in this physical realm. And to excel is to arise. We must arise, because at the end of the day, the only way to rule this hellish experience of the red rocks and the red soil of the physical plane of inertia is to balance. And it takes the mother rising to seek the father. That's what we're seeking. That's what we're seeking. In the beginning was Kriya, T-ion, the ions of the physical creator. And the creator creates gold. He makes gold. Creator is making physical gold. The only way to seek the answer, which is God, is through the mother, which is the Kundalini rising, which is plasma, which is magnetism.
L as Ma. Even you can see mother in there. P is light, L is the right side of the L as the mother. And this is the most important thing. As you say, this XL is to balance the L, the EL. And this is how you excel. It's very important. The word you said earlier was evolution as well. And I just wanted to say, we know that the purpose of our evolution is to expand our awareness back to love. Evolution backwards is know it you love. And a revolution is know it you love her. And this is exactly how language has been written. It's forwards, backwards, intertwined. Just as Adam, the atom is the magnetic field with the 666. This is 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. But 10 backwards is net. This is the magnet I see, magnetic, and this is magnetism.
It totally is. It absolutely is. Completely is. And again, this is where plasma comes into this, because again, to finish, just finish this thought with everyone. Again, Tesla taught us that there is a massive duality between electricity and magnetism.
How much more powerful?
That's right. If you know Tesla crossed the river and became all about magnetism. These people that write to you about Tesla as being this mad science of electricity are lying to you. That's where Tesla started, but Tesla grew very, very bored because he was very limited with what magnetism could do. Tesla described electricity as a one-trick pony, and that one trick is all that boy could do. And what it does, electricity does, is downward causation. That's what electricity does. And that's in fact what Tesla said that Einstein and these theoreticists were getting wrong with this theory of gravity. There's no gravity. Gravity can't possibly exist. There's no motion first and foremost, but it simply cannot exist with these planes of inertia. So what he said is that they were mistaking gravity for this natural downward causation of electricity. Okay, what is electricity? It's a transverse wave. What is a transverse wave? It is a temporal wave. And what is a temporal wave? You can just think of it as the wave in the ocean oscillating eternally until such time that it hits bottom, there's an obstacle, and it thrusts forward violently for 50 or 60 toxic years, and then it dies. It returns back in the sand and the foam. There's a powerful allegory to that. You can figure it out. Back into the sand and the foam until it is regenerated again and comes back to life. But this is the samsara. This is the left hemisphere of the brain. The left hemisphere of the brain, my friends, is an electrical circuit. And around and around and around you go, because you will know life, you will know illness, you will know sickness, you will know death, and you will know rebirth. And around and around and around you go. And when you continue to make mistakes and the wrong path, you go to the west and to the left. Every time you come back, it's going to get a little worse and a little worse, and it becomes harder and harder and harder to rise again. But that crucifixion is always waiting for you. It's always there. It's a choice in a single moment to cross the river and go to the east, to the rising sun. So electricity, transverse wave, temporal, dies, left brain, electrical brain, circuit, and this is the samsara. There is no samsara in the right hemisphere of your brain. Magnetism is a field. How do you think? Where do you think these plasma TVs come from? The concept of a plasma TV. You have a space. The plasma fills the entire space. That's what you see, is the wholeness of that space. And that's what that image is. The image, the wholeness of the image is the fractal in every single component of that field. Magnetism is a field. Magnetic waves are called scalar waves, and they became to be known as Tesla waves. That should tell you something. That's where Tesla spent his focus. And he said, magnetism is at least 1 million times more powerful than electricity. So why are we spending our time with electricity? And so what do we know about the 8? The 8 has no beginning and has no end. Also, what you should know about the 8 is that it's upright. It's always rising, but it remembers its friends, so it's always returning. And then it's always rising, but it remembers its friends, so it's always returning. And it's always rising, but it remembers its friends, so it's always returning. It's eternal. It's eternal. It's the sun. What does the sun do? It rises again every single day. Now, how incredible is this? Look at images. You can do this. I put them up in all of our videos. I've done it so many times. You can find them for yourself online as well. Look at the pathway of the sun in 365 days. What shape does it make? It makes a perfect 8 with the bottom part of the 8, the bottom Ouroboros, much bigger because that is filled with matter. Less light, more solidity, bigger,
And
heavier, and it's down. And it, by the way, you look at the path of the sun goes up and to the right. So the heavier matter part down and to the left. Yeah, down and to the left. And it rises in a perfect 8, and there's a head. You see, when you look at the circle at the summer solstice, the completion of that circle, it is so much smaller than the winter solstice. The winter solstice, death upon earth, lowest point in the sky. Summer solstice, highest point in the sky. There's the head heaving to the heap of heaven. That's what the sun does. It's a perfect 8, casting its net to the right every single day. What does the moon do? For 14 days, you can see the moon, and you can literally go outside when the moon becomes visible, and you just chart it. You just chart it on a piece of paper, just put the piece of paper up there, and you just 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, when the sun becomes visible, you just make a dot on that piece of paper. And what shape in 14 days does it make? It makes a perfect S. Then 14 days, you cannot see the moon. Guess what the moon does in those 14 days? It completes the opposite S. It returns home, and it creates a perfect 8.
this is climate. This is the true climate change that needs to go on within you. You need to climate and change. And you'll notice that our media has always given us little hints and tips, you know, that obviously mean something else via the left brain. But you'll see, if you have a holistic understanding, there's duality with every aspect of our existence. And if you can see through the fog, the light leads the way. And how this is done truly is by virtuous living, by understanding the virtues and making that choice every single time to be goodly and godly, or to be the form of evil as the devil. If anybody has not had time to study the virtues, this is a virtuous reality. It is not a virtual reality. And this is controlled by your virtuous nature, and you will be rewarded. You must understand this. If you take time and you do not react, as in acting is the personification of man, and you can be present, which is the pre-sense, which was before the senses and the ideologies and thought forms and accumulations of what you call the physical aspect of yourself. Be free from all of that. Be virtuous, and the light will just rise. Every single being on this earth has the possibility, POSS, ability. This is the double sine waves. This is the other sine wave that many beings have not had the chance to experience within their beingness. I say, take a stand, take control, and become. And this is when you will see and you will receive, and you will be ever blissful in every single moment. God bless you all.
God bless you, Josh. I don't know if you can see me, but this entire podcast, virtually all of it, I've just been permanent smiling. I value our time together as a true gift. The rewards are built into the work that you do. So if your life stinks, that's a reward. It's a just reward. You're always justly rewarded for the work that you do. You may not like those rewards, then change the decisions that you make in every single moment, and you'll have momentum. So you can have momentum that is up and to the right or down and to the left. It's your choice. But the rewards are built into the work that you do. Josh talked, I'll just complete this with this beautiful gnosis that Josh talked about how they hide the truth in plain sight, and they talked about climate change. What is, they're going to have a carbon tax, because the problem is too many of these carbon emissions. Do you know what carbon, which element carbon is, 6, right? 666, protons, neutrons, electrons, 666, carbon, 666. Carbon is man, is the physical man, not the risen man. So you see, there's always a duality. Don't let 666 scare you. It's a choice. And the physical man trapped upon the physical plane of inertia, who is burning, right? That's where we create all of these, harmful gases, and they're destroying our upper atmosphere, and it's disturbing our climate. So we need climate change because we have pollution of man who's burning. That's right. Man is burning upon the earth. Carbon man is burning upon the earth. And don't you love it? We're burning our foods with carbon, barbecuing, right? And we use carbon, el carbon, and we barbecue all of our foods, and we're polluting. And of course, microcosm within, macrocosm above, right? The Hermetic principle of Hermes is the truth in every single moment. Never changes. As within, so without.
Everybody in the commercial world fears carbohydrates, but you need to hydrate your carbon. Hydration is the key here.
That's right. More truth in plain sight. So Josh was talking about climate change. We need climate change. And again, you see how this relates to carbon, because man is the problem. No, the duped, foolish man of the left brain, Dan of the north with the false intellect, that's the problem. You think that you think that you have a great diet because you don't eat that terrible meat from the stores. That's bad meat. Yeah. You go to the farm and you have that farmer who took beautiful grasses and they were grazing. Then he slit their throat. And that's so much better. And that's the beautiful meat that you're going to eat. You're so smart because you're Dan of the north. What? There's no wisdom in that. There's fake, false wisdom, Dan of the north, false intellect. So you see, that's the wrong man. So the right man and the wrong man. So there are the two crowns of 666. So which 666, by the way, is Saturn. And Saturn is not ostensibly evil. It is a duality. So you wear the righteous crown or the wrong crown. What's the wrong crown of Saturn? Chronos. What's Chronos known for? Chronos means crown, but Chronos is known for linear time because that's how he ruled his subjects through the subterfuge of linear time, never connecting in the now, never ever seeing how everything is a conspiracy against them because they're too busy fretting about their past and worrying about the future, never connected to the now. Chronos, Saturn, that's right, Saturn wearing the false crown. Now, who's Saturn wearing the right crown? That's Jesus Christ. That's Jesus Christ becoming the Christed one, Christ Jesus, the Christed one. And that's a purple crown. See? Because you have to activate the purple 6th chakra, the third eye chakra, to illuminate the crown chakra with the magenta colored 144 petaled lotus flower. And when we ascend up to the crown, 1,000-fold, that's 144,000. That's where the 144,000 comes from. Your chakra systems, your chakras, your wheels have petals. And in the body, to the third eye, are 144 petals. It's ascending 1,000-fold upward gets you the 144,000. That's why Atlas is a capstone. That's why the answer is not the spine. The spine will only take you so far. Then you have to cast your net to the right.
I was going to say, this is why the third eye, as the 6th chakra, is number 9 in the alphabet. That's right. Then after that, this is where your awareness can get trapped here. But to go past this, you must cast the net. Net backwards is 10, and this is the purple light. This is the light.
And that's the Sephiroth. And the only way that the 10 points on the Sephiroth can rise is through the 22, the 22 pathways, which is the Kundalini rising. And the only way that the mother will rise, see, why is this story ubiquitous in every single culture and every single video game and every single Disney movie and every single children's story and tale? The damsel in distress she's distressed in a dungeon, and there's a dragon or a beast that is guarding her and rules over her. And you must go, the hero must go and slay the dragon. Who's the dragon? It's your ego. That's your ego. The mother inside of you lives in fear of our stabbing penis, which is our left brain. Think, 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 no love. You can justify anything. Think, think, think. Possessions. I need to provide for my family. I can rip somebody off. Think, 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 think. Left brain, stabbing penis. Left brain, left brain, left brain, left brain. You must cross the river to the right. When you cast thy net to the right, then that is stillness and silence. And then the mother says, it's safe to come out and play. That's the killing of the dragon. Take no thought for your life. The greatest passage in the Bible is the book of Matthew. Chapter 6 in the book of Matthew is the greatest chapter in the book of Matthew. And chapter 6 is an entire story. 6:21, where does the treasure lie? That cannot be stolen, cannot be rusted, cannot be ever taken from you. That is in the third ventricle of the brain. Okay, the third eye chakra. Okay, that's where this treasure that does not rust and moths and thieves cannot get to. How do you get there? If thine eye be single, thy whole body shall fill with light. 6:22. Then what do we have from 6:25 to 6:34 at the end of the chapter 6? 6:25. 5 times Jesus says, take no thought for your life. Take no thought for your life.
Be. You just need to be. And that is the awareness that's observing everything from your avatar or your physical body. We get lost in thought. If we attach our mind to these thought processes, we become emotional. These emotionals give you signals or chakra blockages. These blockages are felt by your pain body. And your pain body is here for you to experience this, for you to see it, to be able to adjust, to be able to overcome. Your part of your existence here is applied knowledge, is action. This is your karma. Your karma is your K armor. The armor of K is balance. You must balance yourself with the temple, the twin pillars. Temple is the physical electromagnetic pull. These are the 2 sides of your head. We will become. All we need to know is when and how. And if we can find that space to know who we are, what we are, where we are, when we are, the unanswered questions that have been left here by our establishment, then this is us. We are here. We are now. We are everything, all in this moment. Be free from thought. Be free. And in that moment, you will find yourself rising. There's nothing more simple than just to be able to observe your thoughts dancing. There are thought forms out there, and they're like etherical bubbles that just pass you, and your awareness picks up on them. But if you take your mind to them, they become your reality. So what we need to do is progress slowly and remove these thoughts one by one. And as we don't attach to these, we become non-emotional, and then we free our energy centers up. And in doing so, our chrism ore can rise and keep rising. And when it does, and when it hits that wonderful place, we become one. We become free. And we truly understand. Carry on.
And folks, that is the climax of the climate change. That is the wearing of the right crown instead of the wrong crown. And the right crown is that crown of Jesus Christ. The crown that Jesus Christ wears as the Christed one, the Christed Jesus, is the purple crown. That's the right crown. Chronos is the wrong crown. And when you have the purple crown, then you are risen and you've achieved climax. That's what climax is all about. And Josh can tell you that word.
Where people spill their seed in the physical world and they want those short-lived experiences, the reason why you feel this energy in an orgasm is because you've had a moment of non-thought and the energy is filling your being, but it doesn't last. Truly, if you can find this space, you feel that way forever. And what is forever? You can see it in the word. It's evening out with the R. The R is the full reciprocation. It's the 2 9s. It's the magnetism. The letter R is the 18th letter in the alphabet. You see the 8 and the 1. You slide the 1 in the middle of the hyperboloid. then you have an inertial plane. You have a fully reciprocating hyperboloid, a magnetic field. This is creation. This is God. Simple, simplex, divine, over complex by the left brain world, but the earth will save you. And it is time. It's your time, because time can tie me. Time backwards is to omit. What we need to do is move forward and change frequencies. We need to free the Q and C. Q is a Phoenician letter of perfect balance of 0 and 1, the magnetic coding of our reality. Reality is a real eye tie. It's tied to the third eye. Open it up. Be that light. Let it shine.
And there is no mistake that John F. Kennedy Jr. is Q taking down the Phoenicians and their corrupt system of maritime admiralty law with the 3 laws of the land, which is the laws of God. It all fits together, folks. There is a balance and a harmony that is there for all of us to see. And all that has to happen is that our eyes need to be open, all 3 of them, because we have 2 eyes.
To look.
That's right, to look, but we have 1 eye to see. And when that 3rd eye is illuminated, thy whole body shall fill with light. Light is perspective, because it's everything. So when you're filled with everything, you understand everything, and that is perspective, and that is the risen man. You cannot be filled with light until you rise, and the only thing that rises is magnetism. Magnetism is the mother. Again, in Sanskrit, the word mag in Sanskrit is magnetism.
And the word mata, M-O-T-A,
yeah,
which means the mother, reverse it, you get atom, which is magnetism.
It is because what's inside of every single atom? Atoms are points of light, and inside of an atom, these points of light are photons, and the photons are the emergent lights of creation, and that is magnetism because it's eternal. Electricity is a temporal experience. Stop living and dying out of your left brain and start living forever out of your right brain. And it is that simple. Just understand what a scalar wave is, understand what a transverse wave is. That's it. Right brain is a field, is a magnetic field.
A to Z. A to Z. A and Z.
When
A is the latitudinal wave, and Z is the longitudinal wave, and Z is the Z ion. This is the holy place.
Yep. When you read this book, when you're finished reading this book, when you finish that last page, you will have tears in your eyes, and then you're just gonna reread it. And that book, the cover is just gonna get bent out of shape because you're just gonna use it. It's your resource. It's our gift to you for eternity to take back your language, which is to take back your magic, which is to take back your power. The left brain, facts, figures, and logic. Your right brain, lore, legend, and magic.
Perfect.
So, my friend, I cannot even begin to express how much I love you, Josh, and how special you are beyond description. How grateful I am for you to be here for all of us. Josh does have his new YouTube channel up, which is Josh X, and he's on Instagram right now. We're going to help Josh get his Patreon site up and running and a PayPal account as well. Because again, for Josh and Michelle to take the time to do this is interrupting what they were doing about putting their plan together. Now, remember, the plan that Josh and Michelle are creating is for all of us, just like what Colleen and I are doing here. It's for all of us. It's creating food for us so that you can come and freely be part of a community that wants to work together. That's it. I don't have all the answers, and Colleen doesn't have all the answers, but if we can align ourselves to someone like Josh, wow, how much better are we when we align ourselves to these brilliant points of light. So So that's what this is all about. So please you're going to replay this 100 times, I'm sure. And keep Josh and Michelle and Neo in your hearts, and just know that they're there for you. Josh is healing people through his simple but absolutely true understanding of the food that we're supposed to eat based upon who we are. And that's what Colleen and I continue to do. We continue to pass on what we're not capable of doing ourselves. We're passing on to Josh, and Josh is just continually healing all of these people with his gnosis and wisdom. So much love to you, Josh. Much love to all of our beautiful friends and followers out there. You need to be subscribing to Josh's YouTube channel. And you can visit Josh on Instagram as well. And as I say, we'll get his counts. And Josh, over to you for final words for tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for your kind words. And I love you more than life can ever express. Yeah, we on our journey, we spent a long time mastering how we can heal the physical body, and we're here to help anyone who needs us, anyone that is ready to take the truth or the right path with food, nutrition, and understanding. I'd always suggest to do this before you let the medical industry loose on you, because you will be healed this way. You will reverse your disease, and there'll be no need for anybody to chop anything out of your avatar. You are healing. If you break a bone, the bone will heal itself, as your other parts of your body will do. So it's very important to just do this route, the first initial phase. And yes, we have an Instagram, and we just post small inspirational posts with food or just beautiful landscapes. And there's a lot of information on there, a lot of occult information that will help you on your way. And just really focus on removing your thought, eating the most healing foods you can, and furthering your journey in this existence to acquire more awareness, because the only purpose of our existence here is to destroy our ego and expand our awareness, to resonate with love, and to heal and restore perfect balance in every pathway that we walk. So in that, I will say I love everybody. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your time, and have a wonderful day.
And you have a beautiful evening, and I look forward to connecting with you as well. Please say hi to your beautiful family for us, and thank you, Josh. So eternally grateful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you.